see him out.
Amen. So, speaking of Vanguard, I consider you personally as a pivotal Vanguard person in the DFW.
Okay.
Um,
Thank you for that.
yeah, man, you are. You got the track record. And speaking of your track record, one of your track records is you, if I'm correct, you co-founded, you and Chairman Eric Carfrey started Guerrilla Mainframe.
Right.
So how that come about?
Man, it's a story within that, man. Number one, it was me, Eric Halfrey, Melchizedek Gibbs, Saida Williams Muhammad. It's really a collaboration of 4 individuals. But since those individuals more or less have stepped back, you know what I'm saying, we mainly talk about me and Eric. And just to be truthful about it, our first program, when I say our first program, I'm not talking about Guerrilla Mainframe. I'm talking about what Guerrilla Mainframe came from was an organization called PLC, the People's Lunch Counter. We started our first programs just in the apartment complex in East Dallas, just basically pinching whatever little funds we had together because we were doing kind of the format. We was doing like a neighborhood patrol, you know what I mean, with the agreement of the complex. And then we saw that it was kids there and it was summertime. They had a building they called a Dream Center. And so we used the Dream Center as our headquarters. It was a nice 2-story building on the property.
What time frame this was at?
Man, this had to be 2007.
Okay.
So this is 07. Man, this was on Buckner Boulevard. My apartment at the time was 2703 North Buckner, apartment 203. This was, you know what I'm saying? I was in the hood, you know what I'm saying? But I want to say this though, I was in the hood, but I just want to explain that, you know what I'm saying? I come from a background of both my parents was kind of like, I don't want to say at a certain point, they made it out the neighborhood.
Yeah.
So I really wanted to kind of on my own kind of get that sort of experience. So when they offered me the job to patrol the community, they said, you're going to be our community watch guy. You know what I'm saying? So I started on one apartment complex doing this patrol, and it slipped my mind the name of it. And we were doing such a good job that the other apartment complex across the street, Timber Park Apartments, they called and say, can y'all do this over here too? And so we was patrolling that 2007 and, serving the community. But this was as PLC. The interesting thing about all of that is the whole little neighborhood there, it was other apartment complexes. They was hitting us up too. And it was like, I had like 5 or 6 apartment complexes that was hitting us up at the same time. The thing about this is this, 2007, like a lot of people you got a lot of organizations out there. In fact, Huey P. Newton Gun Club, all the different type of organizations out there. A lot of open carry groups, black groups, etc. This is way before any of that was popular. This is way before even white folks started doing it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? With open carry Texas. And the thing about it is that there was a particular complex that we patrolled called Aspen Chase. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Aspen Chase is one of the biggest apartment complexes in Dallas. It's still called Aspen Chase. It's off 635 and Centerville, I think. Centerville and Ferguson.
Yeah.
It's the biggest. It's the biggest. Man, the thing about that is when DPD, Dallas Police Department, realized that, these dudes either one, trying to build some type of financial security, like start a business, or they getting all their people, like, together. Mm-hmm. Like, I got a dude hired, he was patrolling, but he was also the maintenance. So he had an apartment, doing this thing. But it was like this infusion of culture, like politics, of people that was separate of each other. We got them all consolidated into one area. And so we was dealing with the people like that. That was the powerful. DPD realized that. Man, DPD came down on 3 apartment complexes. We got fired from all 3. The last one, they was trying to get us fired at. It's only because we had a personal relationship with the owner that we didn't get fired. But yeah, all of that occurred through what became Guerrilla Mainframe came from PLC, People's Lunch Counter, and it was just based upon us dealing with the kids in Temple Park and doing a patrol in Temple Park every day.
So that experience made you feel like you and some of the people from, what is it, You said
PLC.
Mm-hmm. Y'all decide, hey, we got to organize this into something else, like that. What Guerrilla Mainframe came?
What happened is that me and Melchizedek, like we was like, you know, real radical guys, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, or we thought ourselves as like real radical guys, you know what I'm saying? And so, you know, we still kind of like, you know, in our prime, so to speak. And so it was actually Saida that said, let's call it Guerrilla Mainframe. Because at that time we were studying George Jackson, and George Jackson, what you always hear about George Jackson? Guerrilla, you know, this sort of thing.
Yeah.
So we wanted to be affiliated, we wanted to be connected with George Jackson. In some kind of way, she just threw the term in Mainframe. And, you know, if I'd have told somebody, no, hey, let's name an organization Guerrilla Mainframe, you'd be like, oh, hell no, I ain't gonna name no single. But for whatever reason, that time, it just sounded good. We was riding in the car together. It just sounded good. And we said we was gonna start Guerrilla Mainframe. It was kind of supposed to be something secret. Like, we was gonna be like a secret entity or something. Like an underground movement or something. That's how it all started out. But Saida came up with that, man.
So tell us a little bit about Guerrilla Mainframe, that inception and Guerrilla Mainframe came to be. What was some of the program? What's some of the accomplishment? What happened with Guerrilla Mainframe?
Man, I think, I think Guerrilla Mainframe to me has been a staple in the DFW area as far as like revolutionary organization for years. You know what I mean? But it hadn't anything. It just, you know, I think it's just been, you know, real positive. Of course, all groups have their ups and downs. I think as far as like even our influence on the national level has been real crucial. Because like I said, I remember when we really first started coming back with this open carry thing. Keep in mind, you know, we had put it down like stop patrolling once we left the apartment complex in Pleasant Road. We left the apartment complex in 2009, and so after we left the apartment complexes, you know, we stopped. In between that, we had some incidents. I failed to mention. We had some incidences with DPD because I had went down to the city hall and I had a hat. This is when you can get through city hall without the metal detectors too. I had like a buoy hat or something. I had some 7.62s in my hat, you know, all around. And basically what I told them, the city council, Diane Ragsdale, she was down there. She came down there trying to calm it down. I had basically told the police, like, it was only 2 ways to leave the battlefield. It's either victorious or dead. I let you all decide. That's the word I ended on. And there was a quote from Che Guevara, because I felt like it was a threat for them to try to come to Timber Park apartments after they got a fire from out of other departments, come down and try to get us kicked out, you know what I'm saying, or try to stop our program, because that was really our baby. But in terms of GMF as a whole, I think that it has been one pivotal group that has helped establish, you know, black militant culture in this Dallas. And I'm kind of quoting Chief when I said, that's one of the things he always said, because he came during that time frame in 2011, 2012 to kind of help solidify what we were doing.
So y'all was GMF. I remember y'all was doing like actual like self-defense training, martial arts type. Y'all, how often y'all was doing that?
Man, excuse me. Every time we saw Chief, every time we saw Chief, you know what I'm saying? And in them days, you know, I talk about them passionately because at those particular times, I didn't have I didn't have problems, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I didn't have experiences, you know what I mean? I didn't have a family to take care of. I didn't have outside people to consider, you know what I'm saying? So we was working out and training with Rakim, you know what I'm saying? Like since day one, like, you know, when I met Rakim at the MLK Center, and I had a group of guys in front of me, and we was out in front of that tree on MLK Center right in South Dallas. And he walked up with a couple of people, I think Sunshine Harris and another female he walked up with, and he was just observing. And I had been like training in like Goju-Ryu, karate, you know what I'm saying, with Keith Sharp. Keith Sharp was like, in the early 2000s, Keith Sharp was like the premier martial artist, a black martial artist in the city of Dallas. Like, everybody that was like in a certain frame of mind, like a freedom type of mind or a political type of mind, they went and trained with Keith Sharp. All the groups you can name, Nation Islam, Black, anybody, they all trained with Keith Sharp. So I come off of training with Keith Sharp. So I'm giving demonstrations on movements and whatnot, and he was like, oh, nah. He said, oh, nah. First time I said, he said, you mind? He asked me, he said, do you mind? I said, yeah, go ahead. And so since that moment forward, he was always, we called him Chief, but a lot of people think that's a nickname. Like, that's not, you know, I just want to say that too. That's not like a nickname for him. You know what I mean? It was actually supposed to be Chief in Command. Like, that was actually a position.